Hello and welcome to episode 63 of the Fools on a Hill podcast, where we bring you the latest news and our expert opinion on the newest releases in the world of music. I am Cal and I am joined by Yanni and Liam. Howdy, partners.
Yeehaw.
Howdy, burners.
How are we? We good?
Oh, loving it.
I'm here.
Love it.
I feel like we've had a little warm up because of
We have.
our previous outing.
Well, we do
Be
things.
excited for that.
Yeah, we do things out of sync on the Fools on a Hill podcast, much like Liam's audio and visuals.
That's me.
So we have just done an interview, our first ever interview. That will be out hopefully
In the future.
Hopefully within a week and a bit, maybe.
A year.
We did it
Definitely,
with. Should we say who we did it with, or should we just leave it as a surprise?
Just leave it. Just leave it. Leave
Yeah,
it.
just
You'll find
Wow.
out.
You will find out.
An exciting
be-
new band.
Yeah, there'll be a teaser on our socials, I'm sure, because we're trying to do this in advance. No promises there, though. So I was lying in bed last night with Karis, and she rubbed her eyes because she was tired, and she said, "When I've rubbed my eyes too hard, I feel like I go to space because she sees like loads of colors and like twinkles and shit." And I thought she was fucking bonkers. So where do you stand on this?
I mean,
No,
the
it's
LSD
true.
helps, doesn't it?
Do you ever quote unquote go to space when you rub your eyes?
I don't really rub my eyes when I'm tired because I feel like that's a child thing to do.
Yep, you could tell Karis that one.
I was just doing it.
I go like this, but I don't go like a.
Yeah, sometimes I get like itchy. That's what I find when I'm tired. My eyes get itchy and it feels nice to kind of rub
Nothing
them.
worse than a dry eye when you do it and it's
Tell me
making
about
that
it.
clacking sound. Oh.
I know what she's talking about. I don't physically go to space.
No, I don't think she physically goes to
I've
space. Although
spent all my
she's
life on
adamant
Earth.
that she's adamant she was abducted.
Meeting
in a
up with
sleep
Tay
once.
Swizz
Well, she's basically in the
on her way
atmosphere at
down.
this point. Yeah, she's burning up for you, baby. Yeah, eyes, crazy things, eh? I always wonder. Let's take this down a notch, up a notch, whichever you want to go. I do wonder what blind people see. Not see. That's a stupid.
The answer's in the
thing.
question.
But like, there must be something. I know some of them see light and stuff, not
The
just.
void.
Yeah, it's a crazy concept being blind to me.
What's the story?
Yanni, take it away, honey. This is your
Jamie
boy.
T. Is my child, yes. Jamie T. Jamie Toronto. The
Oh,
theory of whatever. Or, as he said it, theory of whatever. Coming out July 29th. That's right, he's announced an album. That's what I've just told you.
exciting.
There will be a lead single coming out called The Old Style Raiders. That is not out yet, but it will be out as of Wednesday, the day of your ears being blessed with this podcast.
Yes.
So,
We're excited. Been a while
I
since
am.
Trick, 5 years, I think. Was it?
Not bad,
since
innit?
Trick?
trick. Yeah, I'm excited. I always love Jamie T.
Yeah, Liam.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. What was played? He played a few snippets on that little video.
It was a very funny announcement video.
Yep, I thought it sounded pretty good, and I did enjoy that Jamie T album. That I can't remember the name of.
Panic Prevention.
It's the Panic of the Preventions. And so I'm looking forward to see what's next. I've skipped from the beginning to the end, and I'm happy
Brilliant.
about
Cool. It's also it's kind of news, but Yes have announced that they're doing like a string of new shows, and there's new music on the way, which is
Oh,
quite
cool.
big considering they've not released anything since 2013.
Whoa.
Do we like the Yes?
that. I
think
love the
so.
song Maps.
Songs.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
Maps is one
excited
of
for
the
that.
best songs ever.
Ever. Wow.
Yeah, I really love that
One of the
song.
bands that I've not really given much of a deep dive.
No, I've not really
into.
given much of a deep dive, but I'm a big
That's
fan
it.
of
No, I'm
the singles.
really upset that you copied the sentence because it wasn't a very good sentence.
Yeah, I've never really given him a deep dive.
No. The singles are very good, so I'm excited to see what is next. And Karen O's last project, Lux Prima with Danger Mouse, was fucking incredible. So
Oh.
yes. Happy boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Is that all the stories?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no
That-
more stories.
Those were all the stories. So as the summertime approaches, as death must greet us all one day. The certainty is that which is mirrored with our next section.
Come on.
It's hot off the press, boys.
Whoa.
Here's half the press. It's so hot and steamy and juicy and.
Anorak Patch EP, which of course stands for what, Liam?
Oh, I was confused. Anorak Patch stands for Anorak Patch. EP stands for Anorak Patch.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
That's right, they've got an EP out, and we're going to talk about it. There's quite a few songs on this EP, I think.
7.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. The EP is called By Cousin Sam, by the way. And yeah, we're going to talk you through it. Hal's going to go first.
Are we going through track by track, or do you want me to just give you an overall?
I haven't done track by track, so if you've got an overall,
Okay.
you
Well, I thought Cousin Sam was a pretty decent opener. I don't really feel like they needed to split up Cousin Sam intro and Cousin Sam. Paris Will Be Paid For. I liked it more than when we heard it a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not really too fond of it. Irate, one of the tracks of the year. Love it. So good. Delilah, it was all right. Not spectacular, and that is kind of what I thought about Blue Jeans and Polyfiller too. It was all right. But I wasn't really too fussed at all, other than Irate. Sorry, guys.
No, it's
Don't
Anorak
say
Patch.
Not sorry,
not
mate. It's
sorry.
Anorak Patch.
I actually disagree with the Cousin Sam intro splittage. Because I think the way Cousin Sam starts is a perfectly valid and good start to the song. And I like the intro as an intro to the EP. Maybe they should have called it something different to, navigate that discussion. However, so Cousin Sam, I think, is an alright song. I rate a pretty decent song. I was waiting for Callum to jump in on me saying pretty decent.
I don't
as
really
opposed
care
to
too
the
much.
best song you've ever heard.
He doesn't care about your
I
I
opinion
didn't
here.
say that, did I?
You sound like you did. The rest of it,
Listen then.
yeah, it just wasn't really doing it for me. It didn't quite. I just don't necessarily like the sound they're going for. The last few songs were quite samey. I think for such a young band, it's a if you actually consider that, it's actually a really good effort. But yeah, just not quite for myself.
Wow. Well, that leaves me, doesn't it, boys? Yeah, I wasn't really that arsed with it. I thought it was a bit samey, unfortunately. And some of the vocals just seemed a bit like too monotonous for me. Yeah, it's just a bit like that, I'm afraid. That's all I've got really.
You
on it.
sound a bit like this EP, Yanni.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, no more comments on that. We're gonna move on. James
Cool.
Wrighton has
It's actually credited as James Wrighton and Benny Anderson,
okay.
which
Feats Benny
strange.
Anderson.
Benny of ABBA, yeah.
Yeah.
Benny as in the Jets. Empty Rooms is the name of the song, and I'm going to say this was quite metronomy-esque vocally. It was.
Yeah, I suppose.
I thought it was. It sounded like what do you call him?
I've just skipped to Joe. I've just
Joe,
skipped to a part where he's singing in higher. What do you call
Register.
it? Higher register. Thank you.
Yeah.
A higher octave, and it does sound a bit like when Joe does the same. So yeah, I get that. I see it.
As for the song, wasn't really that blown away by it.
No, I don't
Pretty
think it's
boring, I
all
thought.
that special. I think he's kind of, I don't know what the phrase is like, but he's done well to claim this as a feature from Benny Anderson. I don't really. He spoke on his Instagram that there being like a piano solo from Benny, and it was all right, but it was, I don't know, doesn't really strike me as being
You
of a
could do better, Carl,
quality.
is what you're saying.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I am better than Benny from ABBA, as you can see from that keyboard.
We've
Just
all
there.
been there. Am I next or are we next?
Oh,
Thanks, Liam.
fucking energy!
I can't
Christ.
remember whether I
Energy
spoke or not, so I wasn't sure if you
You
were
should-
waiting for me.
Yeah, we're always waiting for you, mate.
Oh,
All you
God
said was
damn
that
it.
you did listen to the high part, and
Yeah, I
stop
did.
doing that with your hand,
I've got-
fucking Mr. Burns.
I've
What's
got-
going on?
Really sound. What do I think of this song? Yeah, I think it was just pretty. Okay, fine. It sounded nice. I like the sound.
Yeah.
I like the production.
Oh yeah.
Didn't
This
care
is for
much for the
journalism.
song. It painted an image in my brain of a song that was playing.
We're gonna move on
That was that.
to Crush Puppies. They've released another song. Is this their second song now, or have they released quite a few at this point?
Second one we've covered.
Yeah.
I don't think they've released anything else.
The song is called "Throw Me on the Fire," and that's sometimes how I feel when I want Liam to do things and he's just quiet.
I'm going to speak up right now, though, and tell you that it's actually the third song we've covered, and they have
Ah.
released quite a bit of music
Have they?
beforehand. So we were completely wrong on every front.
Oh, that's
No,
good.
I say quite a bit. They've released something.
Nice.
4 songs before we've covered them.
Oh dear.
So-
Well, I didn't think this was a bad song. It wasn't really mind blowing. If I was to be more complimentary than I currently am being, I would say that I really like the guitar tones.
Yes.
Yeah, tone sounded nice, but as a song itself, it was kind of a bit mid for me. Didn't hate it, didn't really like it. It was okay.
Yeah, I think I mostly agree. I haven't listened to most of these. I've only listened to all these once, so I'm reminding myself. But yeah, I agree. I think the guitar tones are good. I like, again, the style they're going for. I think the song itself maybe doesn't kind of live up to that quite as much. It reminds me a bit of Warpaint vocally, which I like. It tickles that Warpaint vocal itch that I get a lot. It's like down.
I love
Yeah, it's an awkward
tickling
one
of
to-
the itch.
Talking of
Oh, that's
Warpaint,
getting.
sorry to cut across you. Is that out on Friday, that album?
It's a possibility. Yeah.
I think it is,
Oh my
Uh,
god!
I'll
What
have a
a day.
look.
What a day!
day. What a day.
Okay.
The Arcade
And,
Fire album's out this Friday, I think.
Yes.
Oh.
can tell you that
Oh,
much.
shit. Double spotlight.
Hey ho.
Speaking
The
of
least we can
Arcade
do, eh?
Fire, am I right,
So we
boys?
bloody planned it, boys.
They've released another song off their album, which is coming out very shortly. It's called Unconditional One. Lookout Kid in brackets, or is it Unconditional I? I can't
It's
tell.
Roman
I assume it's
numeral
one.
one.
Is it one?
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Yeah.
I haven't got the
Unconditional
album track list.
I. Very dramatic.
It is fitting for Arcade Fire, I'd say.
It worked. No, it's
yeah,
one of. There's going to be like Unconditional 2, Unconditional 3, maybe.
just
I
like
think the
was with
whole album is
Lightning.
basically that kind of thing.
I think
it's-
it is as well.
There's like 3 or
okay.
4 sets of songs.
I
So
thought it was
far.
just all right, to be honest. Wasn't anything too special about it for me. So yeah, I don't know. It was compared to the Lightning Part 2,
Ooh.
which is a stonker. It's a dirty
It's a
little
wee
stonker.
stoner.
This was a bit more easy listening, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
not really much more
Sure,
to
yeah.
it.
I like the song, but I don't. It didn't really blow me away, but I really like it. The melody was really nice, despite it being quite basic. But I just love Wynn's voice. It just gets me every
It's a
time.
win-win.
It is a win-win.
Hey.
It is. It is. Liam.
Yeah, I think this is a really like kind of nice song. It's a little bit cheesy. It reminds me a bit. It actually, at the very beginning, it sounds like that Vampire Weekend song that came on not long ago. Okay, You know what I'm
Yes,
talking about?
I didn't make
Yeah.
that as a note, but I did think that.
When it came on earlier, I thought, why is this song? And then I was like, oh, this is Soccer Fire. But yeah, no, I like the song. There's a few chord progressions that I think are a bit more interesting than you'd have expected from where they start. If that makes sense, because it does
Yeah,
seem
man.
very cheesy and poppy, and it's nice. It's a well written song. I think it's not the most exciting thing. Doesn't live up to Lightning 2 for sure. Whoa.
You're right.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. That's all I've got to say. I just want to let you guys know that, yeah, the Arcade Fire album is out on Friday. Was the Warpaint album out? Carl, did you work that out?
Yes. So, like
Yep.
I said about 5 minutes ago, double spotlight.
double-ended.
Well, funny enough, so is Roland Blackout's Coastal Fever.
Yeah, we're not going to
full
cover
on
that, though,
off.
are we?
Yeah,
So-
full on
I
off.
mean, I'll definitely listen to it. So.
Oh, good for you. But I don't, Liam, I
Sharon
don't give a
Van Etten as
shit.
well. Jan, if you're interested in Miss Van Etten. Yeah,
After
no one
the
gives a
fact,
shit.
After the fact, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't have brought it up right now, dickhead. you know,
I've had enough
Black
of you two.
Keys. They're back again. This is the second song from the album,
They are back indeed.
and they're back in a good way.
Yeah.
It ain't over, and I'm glad it ain't,
Yeah.
because this is, I thought, a return to form.
Yeah. I like the
Um,
last track as well. What was that called?
Wild, isn't it Wild?
Wild
Child.
Wild Child.
Wild Child. Wild
Yeah,
Child.
that's good. That's a
Um,
good tune as well.
like I said, musically, I think this is pretty. Well, without this coming across the wrong way, pretty like what you'd expect from the Black Keys. Pretty heavy Black Keys. And then, but the vocals, I've mentioned it a couple of times in our group chat.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So they must be the best vocals he's ever done on a track.
Without a
It's-
shadow of a doubt.
they're
I've
great.
always, like I said before, I've always liked his voice, but this was top notch. There was
I'm-
something so sexy about the verse that I was just like, oh, Daniel. Whoa.
I'm a bit confused because I don't disagree. I think the vocals are great on this song. They don't stand out massively to me though compared to
Oh,
some
they
of the
are.
older stuff.
Yeah. No.
You go back to like Brothers and stuff. There's a few songs on that album that sound like this. There's
For
the
me,
similar
it's-
kind of the vocal kind of effect on there, which kind of ties in the sexiness. And I think what he's singing isn't necessarily difficult to make it that he's singing it well, if that makes sense. And not
There we
that he's
go.
not.
Next
at the
week, we've
same
got
time.
Liam doing a Black Keys cover.
Well, there's actually one on YouTube.
Yeah, there is.
Go on. I'll let that sit, and I'll come back in a minute with the rest of the song.
Yeah.
Go on. What you gonna say?
It's, for me, it's the chorus when he's saying it ain't over and he holds on to over in quite the high register for him, I'd say.
Octave.
Yeah, I suppose so. Again,
the-
there's a few songs from back in Brothers that you
Oh,
sing
Liam,
like this. So.
Let me enjoy things with
It's,
you,
all,
man.
it's all been done.
You know?
Honestly, he very rarely enjoys things, Liam. So just let it. Just let him
Seriously.
have-
No,
just
it's
let
fair.
him have
That's why I'm
his
so on guard. I feel like I need to like push it back because.
On guard.
Oh God! I also enjoyed the Jackass riff at the end.
I
Did
need
like
to
Corona.
read-
It sounds so much like.
Oh,
the
yeah, no, it
Jackass
is.
riff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a really good track.
No,
I'm
it
excited. I'm
literally is that
excited for this
riff.
album.
Yeah, no, it just actually is that riff, straight up.
Is it?
Yeah. Straight up. Dead.
I didn't talk about the song. Sorry, I didn't talk about
Yeah,
Black Keys
well,
song properly.
You've only had a
Well,
straight down.
yeah, I really like the return
Mirrors.
to form. I think someone said that. I'm going to copy it.
Yanni,
Yep.
Yanni said that.
And it does sound a lot like Brothers, which is their best album.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I very much appreciate that. I think the guitar tone and like the solo and stuff, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's just got a great groove to it. This song, I love the backing vocals, and I've just got to the part where they play Corona. Yeah, it's literally Jackass for him. Yeah, very strange. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
thanks, Liam. I'm glad that in the end you enjoyed it. Dead or Dead.
Dude.
Empty in my mind is the name of the track. This gave off like the
Is it not
early
called Empty in My Head? Sorry, I've written that down wrong. Go on.
I've only
I
got it off
fixed
Notion,
it, you
so
silly boy.
Empty in My Mind is the song. This gave me the early 2010s indie vibe, and I like that.
Totally.
Well, to contradict what you said, it doesn't do anything for me whatsoever. It's a bit annoying, in fact, is what I wrote.
Wow,
I just really didn't vibe with it, man.
I really like this.
I think it was the vocals; they were just a bit much.
I fucking love this song.
I
Yeah.
really did.
I think it's a
Did
good
we?
time.
We've covered Dead quite recently,
Yeah,
haven't
we've
Yeah.
covered one of the
I
songs,
did-
and
I
that was a
don't-
good time too.
we? I don't think I really like
I
that
think-
either.
Grow up.
Oh,
Who do you think you are?
I really like this. Something about it. The guitars, the tone of it is straight out of like the early 2010s. Like it sounds like not Dive, but the thing they were before that. Or the thing Cole was in before that. What's it called? Fuck's sake, Liam, you talk about it, and I'll just be rude and interrupt you.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a good time. It also reminds me of those kind of like
Beach fossils.
You say early noughties. For me, it just makes me feel like 2014-y. I feel like it's a rough
14-y?
vibe I'm getting. I can't think of like what bands, but
What did it?
there was a time where you were just, this was the music. It encompasses that time very, very well. But I think it's a great song in its own right. I like the vocals again. Good times.
brilliant!
And I like
Before
the
we
hook.
move,
I like the chorus hook.
oh, that was just very close. Before we move on, talking of Dive, Yanni, have you seen that they're
Dive.
reissuing Ocean?
Yeah, very expensive.
I've not looked. That's
Ocean.
what I was going to ask.
You can only get it from America, from what I saw anyway.
Oh.
And the
Fucking
bundle,
hell!
yeah, the bundle was already like $40. So
I've already got it anyway. So I don't care.
$40.
did you
Um,
get it? Me? Or have I already had it as well? The reissue.
I bought
I
it.
don't know.
I know I have.
But yeah, I got it for like £9. Rough Trade did. They were so well priced. And I think we should go and see them in Manchester because it's like £16. Why would we not go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see them in Primavera, so that's the
Great,
reason
I
why.
know.
Yeah, I'm already
Hey.
seeing him there, Carl. So
You don't even like him, Liam, so you can fuck
well,
off.
yeah, I'm
where
not
in
paying
Manchester?
16 quid to see him again. Fucking stupid.
Well, you weren't invited. I was talking to Yanni,
Where
my
in
fellow
Manchester is it, mate?
shoegazer. The
Let's leave
Apollo,
it,
I
shall
think.
When is it?
August sometime.
Yeah,
Um,
why not? Let's fucking go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll come.
Anyway, boys,
No, you're not
Um,
invited anymore.
after I
we'll,
after my
hang
little
on, hang on. Sorry, we will be doing. Sorry, Carl. I don't know what you said then. It might have been important.
was
was
gonna
it?
be, but
Was it
no,
or
it's
not?
fine
Nope,
because it's
okay.
well, it's going to be
We
a
are
segue
doing
to the next track.
we
Such
are
a bitch.
doing a classic album spotlight, probably of Ocean at some point.
Yeah, we will be.
So I might get
Ooh,
really get into it. I
Maybe
might
you
become
will.
an ocean head, a dive. I might be diving everywhere.
I don't know if you will.
I
feel
really
like
don't
it's
think you will either.
A Marmite thing.
Yeah.
I love it. Yanni loves it. You
I
won't.
love it.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm the
Anyway,
right one.
do you know what? I was going to be really nice to you there, Liam, as a random act of kindness to link into Kevin Morby. But you are on my last nerve.
I'm just joshing with you, baby. I'm just having fun.
Kevin Morby has released another song. It's called A Random Act of Kindness. Surprise, surprise, another good tune from this upcoming album, in my opinion. However, and I can't stress this enough, the first brass hit that comes in is so out of key with what should be played, I was infuriated.
The very first note.
First brass hit. So it's not like when the song starts straight away. It's like a bit more into it when it starts.
It does not
There's a bit
start with
more
brass.
No, it's like a
That's what I
violin.
asked. Oh, maybe it is.
There might be some subtle in the background, but like I mean, like the proper like kind of brass hit.
Okay. I'll take you word for that.
Thanks, guys. Please
Um,
talk as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would have,
Can't
but
go there.
I would have been speaking over you. It's my least favorite of the three so far, but I don't hate it, which I think is a good sign because I can't stress how much I hated the last album.
Did you not like
was
that one?
actual.
No.
That was actual hatred, not just I don't like this. It was hatred.
That's so weird. It's so weird that you hate that album.
Maybe I'll come back and like
Such
it.
a
Maybe
lovely
I
album.
will.
It's just nice.
Ah, maybe
If you go
was
grow
it at
to
the
like his
time?
voice more from this album, then maybe you'll appreciate it more.
I think it was at the time where we were listening to three albums as well
Yeah, it
as
was.
the Spotlight, and it was just like I hate my life. Why have I done this?
It's
Maybe I
quite
like it.
a minimal album, so
I'm not
maybe
into them.
Yeah, because
maybe
fuck
you won't
all
like it for that reason.
happens.
It's not true. Anyway, this song
Anyway,
I
Liam,
think
yeah, go on.
is I think the song's very, very nice. Yeah, really like it. I think a very good vocal performance from him. And yeah, I think it's very nice and twinkly, and it just feels it's very soothing to listen to. I like it. Well done, Kev.
Oh, go on, Kev, lad.
Go on, Kev.
Next up, who have we got, Yanni?
Beabadoobee.
Brilliant. With the new track, "See You Soon."
That's not on there.
Has she released this song before?
Probably.
'Cause,
I was gonna write down all the album news from this as well because I saw Blood Records had announced one. It was announced ages ago. We just were not
Splatter,
on the
wasn't it?
ball.
To splatter.
Yeah, it was quite a nice record, but I don't
It was
want
nice.
it because this song did niche for me.
Niche, man.
It's good,
You
man.
know what you'd expect? It's
Niche came out.
painfully dirty hit, isn't it?
it's so dirty here. Oh god, my hit was so dirty. Yeah, just boring, man. Just like when they started playing, I
Thought it
thought
was-
this is every what's she called? Beabadoobee. I don't know what she's actually called anymore. This is every bebop doo-wop
Beabadoobee.
song I've ever heard. It's exactly the same. There's nothing different apart from like the first few songs she put out that were remotely interesting.
Yeah, Cologne, great tune.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was a
Great
good song.
beer. Kolsch
The
from
the one
Cologne.
you see again with the culture.
Sponsored by.
Please sponsor me because it's so hard to buy in the UK.
And the Through, I feel like I see it all the time.
Well, it's so hard to buy in Northwest England that isn't Liverpool.
And the song about Stephen Malcolm, and there's another one at the same time. Were pretty alright songs. She was coming from a place that was slightly different, maybe to stuff at the time. That's now caught up to her. I feel like, and now it's this, and this is boring.
Yeah,
She's
this
been
is boring.
indoctrinated into the dirty hit
Yep.
machine. Moving on, we have Ty Segall. With
I'd
the
go with that
song
as well. Seagull.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi. Okay. This song came out of nowhere. Starts off like very sort of quiet. If you're listening through headphones, or whatever, in your right ear, unless you're in mono like Liam, and then it's straight down the middle, baby. Little vocal thing, and then boom, straight in, heavy guitars, fuzz to the max. I thought the verses sounded guitar tone wise and sort of rhythmically like the last Queens of the Stone Age record. The choruses didn't sound anything like it, but yeah, the verses I thought did. Like I say, I thought the guitar tones were great, and I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty decent. To be fair, the tone was a particular highlight, but I don't know how much I'll revisit it. I've never listened to Ty Segall before. Should I?
It's actually Ty Segall, mate.
Yeah, it's actually Steven Seagal.
Jason Segall.
God,
We've-
we're all over
as-
the place here.
Did Ty Segall do shit with someone else that we covered a while back?
Yes.
Fuzz. Yeah, we listened to the new Fuzz album.
Was it Fuzz? Was it?
Yeah.
Was there not?
Yeah, it was called.
Oh.
It was all three of them stood there, and it was bad. It wasn't good. It was bad.
It
but
was
not
bad.
good.
Not good,
Yeah, no, this
indeed.
definitely seems like an improvement to that. For sure, I'm actually looking forward to hearing what this album might bring. Because that Fuzz album wasn't good. Empirically not good. That's it.
100%, man. So yeah, that's the hot off the press section done, dusted. We have got a lovely little light to guide us to our next section. To compare this to any sort of other light would only be silly. It's its own unique light. It's above the rest. It's the album spotlight. The Blossoms. Ribbon Around Your Bum is the album. No, it's not. That was a joke from an old podcast. It's actually called Ribbon Around the Bomb because I want to be professional here, okay? I've not made individual notes. That's how professional I am. But we are going to go through it track by track. Callum's going to make up for most of this
Yeah.
because the Blossoms are his favourite band. Colum loves the Blossoms.
Call.
Call on the
so-
Blossoms one more time.
It's actually Blossoms, mate. So it starts off with the track The Writer. Overall, I feel like this album was very self-indulgent for Tom. There's a lot of
Yeah.
references to himself and being like the writer, the poet, and just
Yeah.
fuck off. That annoyed me from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. He's never
Um,
written like from a. He's written from a personal perspective, but not interpersonal. If that is a word, I don't know.
It is a word.
Wow.
Is it the right word for what I'm?
I don't
About
think-
relationships and stuff.
Yeah, but he
His own
he never
relationship.
really writes about himself and his own mental being. It's
That's
always
just
like
personal. That's just personal.
okay. So
Not interpersonal.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
brilliant. So yeah, it did seem a bit self-indulgent, but I don't know. I think it was just a bit out of. I don't know. It's just out of character for compared to the other albums. The Sulking Poet actually came from an Instagram page that called him the Sulking Poet. Just so it's just
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing to see that and be like, oh, that's it's quite a nice thing that someone would have called me the sulking poet. But then to write a whole song,
Put it as
and
a
have
line in
that
a song,
be,
maybe.
yeah, it's anyway. Let's go over this. It starts off with the writer's theme, nice little string introduction to
Mhm.
the album. I think it kind of does a good job of setting the mood for the rest of the album, to be honest.
yeah, I agree.
Um,
And the transition into Ode to NYC is
Yeah, it's a
really
good
nice.
transition.
Mm,
Yeah,
I like that transition too.
It's the album seems very. I say it seems very different. It does seem different.
It
It is different.
When
Obviously,
when people were saying that the singles sounded different compared to Foolish Love in Spaces, I did not agree. I thought it was just a nice continuation. There was some different aspects, but I didn't think it was like this big stylistic change that people were talking about. But the album as a whole, I do think actually is.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, that transitions beautifully into Ode to NYC, which I believe was a single, wasn't it?
It was.
Yanni, what does
Um,
NYC stand for?
Not your cock.
Ah, wow.
That's true.
All right. Was this the first single or was
No, it was the third.
Well, I think at the time I could be getting it mixed up with a different single, but I think I remember saying that this sounded slightly different for Blossoms.
Yeah, I think you both actually quite liked it, but said that the vocals were a little bit wet, which I agreed with.
I mean it's all right. It's not that bad. I've not really got a whole lot to say. Like I say, I've not got notes, so I'm just trying
Yeah.
to.
I
gather
think
my
it
thoughts
does.
as I go along.
It does what it tries to do quite well. It paints a great picture of New York, but I do think that the lyrics are a little bit. I don't on the nose a little bit, but like it's just they work well, but they just kind of feel a little bit too forced. If that makes sense, like
Mm.
I don't know, but I don't know. I do feel like I am coming at this from like an extra hypercritical point of view because we all know how much I love Blossoms. So
Well, It's good that you've got this head on, to be honest with you. Instead
yeah,
of just being blindly infatuated with everything that they release.
Yeah, I do really like the record. I'm not saying that I don't, and I think obviously I will like it a lot more than both of you, but I don't like this record as much as I've liked previous ones at this stage. So yes. Next, Liam, are you okay?
There's a lot of noise going on in this household.
Okay,
Don't
as
know
long
what's
as
going on.
you're okay, that is
I'm fine.
fine. Next
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
we have title track "Ribbon Around the Bum." Um, I think this is a very, very good tune. It sounded a lot like Care For, so like I was worried at this point when it was released as a single. But I think the middle eight is really strong. Tom is a very good writer of a middle eight, in my humble opinion. It's a good tune. Decent.
I thought this sounded most like if you think this is real life.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, at this point when I was listening to it, I thought Tom can definitely write a solid pop song.
Mm-hmm.
There's no disputing that he doesn't know how to write a song.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't really feel like, well, not for a while anyway, that there was anything that really stood out to me. Unfortunately, it all worked so far it's worked very well together. Nothing seems out of place at this moment in time on the album, but to that same effect, nothing's stood out to me either, unfortunately.
Well, what I'd like to say I'm quite disappointed with is I think it was around the time. Well, it was obviously around the time Foolish Love Spaces was released. I'm sure Joe, the drummer, said that they were going to go in the direction that Like Gravity was on the last record, which was kind of a bit more, I wouldn't say psychedelic, but a bit more weird and a bit heavier and just a bit kind of grittier. Whereas this has just not materialized whatsoever,
No, it's not gone
which
down that path at all.
I'm a little bit disappointed in that regard. I do think it is a good album, but I would have liked to have seen them kind of experiment a bit more, kind of gone into like their humbuggy phase, should we say, to
Mhm.
comparatively, which is a bit of a shame.
Liam, what do you think about Ribbon Around Your Bum?
Are you right? So I'm gonna start and say that I only listened to half the top.
Okay.
No offense. I don't know. 22.
We're not possums,
Yeah,
mate.
that was the wrong phrase to use. I thought Ribbon Around the Bomb was fine. It's all very kind of like it's a bit too cheesy for me. I think is I kind of
Yeah.
This
Like
is
it's-
definitely the cheesy. It's the cheesiest album that they've done. I completely agree.
and I think Ribbon Around the Bomb is pretty cheesy. Like it's nice. Like it's fine to listen to. If it was on the radio while I was driving, I wouldn't be asked to turn it off, but I wouldn't choose to listen to it at the same time. I might as well say now for the whole half of the album that I listened to, it was the same the whole way through. Like this between this song and Silken Poet sounds like the same song almost.
I get that.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
that's me. My opinion.
Well, okay, we won't come back
Yeah,
to you
please do.
directly. Then you can just
Definitely.
interject when you feel like you need to. Yeah. So, Sultan Poet's the next one. I thought rhythmically it was quite interesting because it's one of those songs where I couldn't immediately get the rhythm that it was going for. I was only listening to it through my MacBook speakers, so there wasn't really any bass low end to it, so it was just pure claps. Pure claps, lad. And yeah, I thought that was alright, but like Liam said, it's not that indistinguishable from Ribbon Around the Bomb if you just
Mhm.
sort of hearing it in the background like I was.
Yeah, I get that. This was my least favorite of the 4 singles, but it has grown on me. But it's still not. I still don't like it as much as the other 3. Although I really like when the bass comes in the second verse. You just said you didn't really get any bass, so you won't have experienced that really. But I think it's very nice. Charlie always has great bass lines.
Yeah, he is a good bass player.
It's all right. It's a good tune. Probably wouldn't have had it as a single. I would have had the next track, Born
Yes.
Wild, as one of the singles. I've listened to a lot of I listen to all their Q&As on Instagram and all that shite. And a lot of them have pinpointed Born Wild as like their favorite off the record. So probably release that as a single. No,
Saving the best for last.
maybe.
This was one of the first ones that stood out to me as being interesting. I'm
Well,
a guitar guy, so the riff helped. But,
yeah, that's fair. But I think this is one of 2
it
that
sounds
sound
like Gravity.
quite war.
No.
No,
I was going to say I thought this one sounded like Gravity quite a bit.
maybe so. But this was one of two that sounds quite war on drugsy, a bit stripped back and not as effective as that. But I kind of got that.
I know what you
I
kind of
think
mean.
I think it's the chorus pedal basically. But this and Everything About You, which we'll talk about in a minute, they were two that I thought you two would like out of the record.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my favorite so far. When I was listening, this, like I say, this one stood out. The riff is good. Not really much else to say on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a very good track. One thing I am slightly disappointed with on this record is a lot of the choruses. I feel like a lot of them are just the title just repeated over and over, which they're probably going for like sing along value at gigs, which is completely fair enough. But yeah, kind of get that on quite a few of the tracks. But this is a highlight for me personally.
Yeah. Then we go on to The Writer, which is an acoustic number. Harmless, it's alright. It's sort of like a good middle song, I suppose, middle point to
Yeah.
an album. But yeah, not really anything too in depth to say on that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think it's the one that sounds the most like Early Blossoms.
First album kind of thing.
Yeah, even Tom's old band, Save the Master Sound, I've heard a few of their tracks. It's very like early Tom, which is strange that it just feels a bit out of place stylistically, but it works if that makes sense. You need an acoustic number at this point. I think it does it quite well. It's very Half the World Away.
It's very Oasis.
Not as
I picked, yeah.
yeah.
It felt very
Yeah, yeah.
Oasis.
It would work well as like a theme to an old gritty British sitcom. Early Doors Royal Family.
I've been
which
watching Early Doors
I know
last
half
few
the
days,
world.
Carl, actually, so it's also my fault.
We'll talk about that after this. What a show.
Yeah.
It would work if that's what they were going for. I think I could see it being soundtracking that, but it's good. Didn't set my world alight, but it's good in this scenario, I think.
Cool. Moving on, Everything About You. Another one that I liked. Might be the chorus pedal.
Yeah, see, that's what I knew. Liam, I know you're busy and all that, but I kind of wish you'd listen to, especially Born Wild in this one, because I think you would actually really like these.
I did hear Born Wild first time round. I've just reminded myself of it, and I'm listening to Everything About You now, and these sound the most interesting out of the other stuff that I've heard, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I think Everything About You would probably be my favourite. There's a bit of knee for you, who people are watching at home.
What a treat.
If I've not cut it out in the square ratio we've got going on. Yeah, I like Everything About You.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
They've released this as well. I think they're releasing a video for every track. The way that they've kind of talked about it, I think that's what they're doing. But they release a different version on the video, and it's kind of like an acoustic version. But the deluxe album has like piano versions, but I don't think it's going to be that because there wasn't much piano in it. But that was a really nice stripped back version of the track, and that made me like the album version more because it kind of made me realize it was just a good song. If you can strip a song back to its core and it still be good, then you're onto a winner.
Exactly.
And I think that this is a perfect example of that. This, as I said before, this was the other one that kind of reminded me of War on Drugs. Not directly, but it just gave me that vibe that they'd probably been listening to them. Again, just the chorus pedal, I assume.
While you two carry on,
then
because I have nothing more to say, I need a toilet, so I'm just going to...
Oh,
Okay.
brilliant.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I wasn't
no
enjoying
worries.
listening, but hey,
This is how we should have done the podcast anyway, Yanni. Just me and you.
Yeah, definitely. Could have got a lot more done, couldn't we? Moving on to Care For, which unfortunately is a song that I don't care for.
Yanni.
Um,
I love this track. I loved it as soon as it came out. I've played it so much.
It's got some
I don't know
disco vibes,
Yeah.
but I don't really care for it.
Fair play. I'm massively into like the 70s aesthetic, so I like the route that this album has taken in that regard. I'm disappointed it's not heavier like I thought it would be based on previous, as we say. But like I said before, I am very surprised that the album feels as different as it does when this was released. I just thought, oh, it is just Foolish Loving Spaces too.
Yeah.
But I love the song, so I'm
Okay.
not going to slag it off.
Moving on to Cinerama Holy Days, which you mentioned before about this being like their humbug. You know, you wanted it to be like their humbug.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I thought this was a song that probably had that same vibe, had a humbug-y vibe to me. Whether it was the timing of things, the rhythms, or the
Yeah.
chords at certain points, it was all right. However, the chorus is shit.
Yeah,
It
see,
is
this is what I mentioned
horrendous
before.
chorus.
It's just the title over and over again,
Yeah.
which is a shame. I do kind of feel like that was a massive oversight because normally the choruses are so, there's just so much going on, but I don't know. But saying that, the transition from the chorus back into the second verse, the way that piano riff is, it works. That is brilliant. I just, I really like this tune. It is just a massive shame about the chorus. I think,
I was finding myself enjoying it, and then it hit the chorus, and I was like,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
they've really let themselves down.
I completely agree. I think musically, the verse in this song is the most interesting on the record.
Okay.
Just the timing is a bit, it's not timing, but like, it's just a bit, it's not as straight as everything seems to be.
Hmm. And then we have Edith Machinist,
We're only here.
Mhm.
which on a re-listen sounds a bit like the Smiths.
I've not really thought of that. This one is probably the one that didn't grab me as much out of them all. I still like it. I'm not saying I don't, but if this would be the last one I'd put on if I was starting it on shuffle like you do. But I really like the outro, Deny the Light. I could just imagine that being good live. It's very
Yeah.
basic again, but it just kind of worked.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. It's the guitar and the drum pattern that sounds a bit
Mm.
like the Smiths for me. The rest of it doesn't end up sounding like the Smiths. But yeah, I like this. I like the lyrics as well.
The
I
strings
like the
sound
melody
very
of
nice
it.
in this. Sorry to butt in.
Yeah, that's all right.
Mm.
Thanks.
That's what you're here for, mate.
Yeah, just for
Just
butts,
a big butt.
man. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that. And this will sound really weird, but I'm glad this is a good song because I like the name of the title.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then we move on to Visions, which is this the longest Blossom song to ever exist?
Yep, 7 minutes. And quite frankly,
Doesn't need to be.
yeah, I agree, but I fucking love it. I, not to go ahead, but the final chapter is another outro, and I understand stylistically why they did it to close it
Last
as it,
chapter.
yeah, as it being like a narrative album. I get that, but that is so unnecessary. Just end
Yeah.
on Visions. Visions is a lovely ender. I love it. It's my favorite track on the record. Yeah, I like the kind of like reversed guitar bit at the end. That again is kind of like a callback to Foolish Summer Spaces, where it ends a bit stranger. Which, if you're listening, just do an album like that, please. Just go for it. Just just do it.
Yeah.
Please.
I also enjoyed this one, to be honest. I like the slide guitar riff that comes in every so often. And just the instrumentation, everything is very nice. The backing vocals are nice as well. I did think that the outro could have been cut
100%.
like
Yeah.
massively.
Yeah.
Didn't need the last minute or even less than that, perhaps. But yeah, it's a good closer, definitely. I'd agree with that. And like you say, the last chapter is pointless.
I don't like with the writer's theme. It transitioned into Ode to NYC, whereas this is just feels abrupt and it didn't correlate
It
at
is
all to
very
Visions.
abrupt, yeah.
It just, if they'd have worked it in, so it was like an extension of Visions, fine, but it's not, and it was just a bit bit strange.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
feel like it would have made more sense for it to have been before the last couple of songs.
yeah,
Because, like, you don't, if you have a book and you have in chapters, you don't suddenly say, "Oh, it's the last chapter," and that is the final page. You have the
Yeah.
rest of what the story is.
Yeah.
Last
So,
chapter's just,
Yeah.
that was the story.
yeah.
yeah. But overall, I do really like the record, which isn't a surprise to
Shocker.
anyone. Yeah. It's not my favorite Blossoms record by any stretch of the imagination, but I think there's some very clear evidence that, as you say, Yanni, Tom is a great songwriter. I just kind of wish that it wasn't so safe.
Um, yeah. I d- yeah. I don't know if I go so far as to say great songwriter. Can definitely write a solid tune. With what seems like ease.
Mm.
But I wouldn't say he's great because not all the songs he writes are great.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this album just feels a bit too self-indulgent. I don't feel like it. I don't know. I feel like for them, they probably thought like it wasn't safe, but it ended up being safe. That
Maybe
makes
so.
sense. I feel like
Yeah.
I can imagine them in the studio thinking, "Oh, this is going to be like we're treading new water here."
Yeah, lyrical content, I think they are because it is different, but musically, yeah, it's pretty Blossoms.
Uh,
Isn't it?
I feel like it would have been better if we hadn't already have had like 3 albums that were very similar to each other. I know there is, the second album's very synth heavy. There's more piano-y stuff on the third one, and then this one there's a bit more, but it's like the progression has been very, very gradual. So unfortunately, it does end up sounding very samey, or predictable.
Yes, but
Um,
please go a bit more dangerous next time.
I thought you were trying to tell me to speed up.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
But
go
yes.
dangerous. Dubstep album. Why not? No one's doing that.
Maybe
this
not.
day and age.
Declan McKenna
think there's a
tried,
reason.
and that did not go well. There's a
Um,
reason why.
Yes, great.
I'm gonna rate this an 8 before you tell me. I know I've got heavy.
Fucking hell.
I've got heavy Blossoms
No
tax
need.
on that. I know, but
That is
it's
ridiculous.
I don't care. I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and I've looked for things to nitpick about, which I know is through my blinkers. I'm fully aware, but yes,
I'm
Sorry.
actually going to rate
Go
it
on, Liam.
based on what I heard, and just that I know just from skipping through that it's not going to be. It could potentially have pushed a 7, but I'm going to give it a 6. 'Cause I think in my brain, it's not going to push more than a 6. Does that make sense?
As someone who has listened to the whole thing, I'm going to give it a 6.
completely fair.
Because of the reasons I've stated. It's a shame because there were some standout songs, but they just didn't really do much with the rest of
Resonate.
it. And they weren't as resonating as the other songs that they've released before I passed. Anyway, that's been us. Mean, what is that?
6.6 recurring.
Median,
6.
me mode,
6
and the range.
is 2. Do I sound weird to you by any chance?
Well, I mean, no, you don't. You sound
Okay.
fine.
I sound different to myself. for some
Sound
reason.
normal.
But yeah, there we go. 2
Um,
nice little range there for the range boys.
That is a good day for the Range
Very
Boys, yeah,
range
like
like you
that.
say, yeah. There were some other albums out this week that we've not all sort of touched on, but Cal, I know you listened to Block Party. It's the
Yeah,
album.
I listened to Melody's Echo Chamber as well. The record Emotional Eternal, but that was purely in the background. I enjoyed it sonically, but I can't say I paid too much attention to it. But I will definitely be going back to it. In terms of Block Party, new record Alpha Games, I think this is a good return to form for Block Party. To be fair, it's more. It sounds a lot more like old Block Party, but they mix it well with the new kind of like dancier style, kind of well. Whereas the last record, I can't remember what it's called. who cares? It was kind of a bit too much.
They've done one since
Um,
4.
Yeah, there was one in between 4 and this.
Yeah.
Really can't remember what it's called. Someone Google it, please. But yeah, I feel it felt like when they did the Silent Alarm anniversary tour. I think they kind of realized that we should probably go back to this style, but also do what we've moved on to. It just works well for me. Traps, I think, is a great tune. I really loved that, and I was excited for the album based on that. Callum is a snake. Kelly, is there any need, mate? Is there any need? What have I ever done to you?
Fight.
But it's a very good tune. I like it. It's nice and straight to the point. I think it's under 2 minutes. It's just straight out the box. It's good. Girls Are Fighting. Hated it as a single. Much prefer it now. Why that was a single, I have no idea. Of Things Yet to Come, I think this is a beautiful track. It gets that emotional kind of I Still Remember kind of vibe, but it's brilliant. Sex Magic and By Any Means Necessary are also 2 good tracks, and In Situ is probably the best track on the record. That is very kind of old school block party. It's very good. And If We Get Caught, it was a good way to end the record. It could have ended on that really. I don't think it needed the last track, which names I can't remember. But yeah, that was a good record. If you like Block Party, listen to it. I don't think you'll be too disappointed.
I did listen to up to Rough Justice, I think, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, but it just felt a bit confused for me. It just felt a bit
In what
like
sense?
it reminded me of the old stuff, but also felt like they were going
Yeah.
for something new, but it didn't quite work as well as I think they were going for it. But I do want to listen to. I just didn't didn't get to finish it, but I think I'll listen to it tomorrow. I've just put on In Situ, and that sounds really good. It does sound really good. I think you
Really
might be
good,
right
mate.
there, Callum.
Honestly.
It might be a good
So
song.
I told you, didn't I? I said I couldn't believe it, but I was very impressed with the record because
Yeah.
as much as I enjoyed the singles, I was kind of expecting to be disappointed, but I think it lived up to the
Yeah.
expectations that I set.
We'll definitely check
So-
out. The
so
other
yeah.
album's called Hymns, by the way.
Of course it was. I did
Yeah,
like
man.
the singles on there, but as an album, no.
No. Thanks for listening to this week's podcast, Liam.
Thank you. I've
'Cause,
really enjoyed
you've
being
had
an
a
audience member this
photo.
week.
And people at home listening and watching, keep up to date with all the things we've got coming up, because there will be an interview out and we'll tell you about it.
In due
Liam's
course.
already started waving. This is going to be painful for him.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna carry
if
on.
you don't know where to follow us, I'm going to tell you right now. Instagram and Facebook at Falls on the Hill Podcast. Twitter at Falls on the Hill Pod. YouTube, you type in Falls on the Hill Podcast. Go to our channel, subscribe, watch our video. Watch the last. He's giving up.
Yeah.
Watch
You
the last
bitch.
episode because it's up there live. Ready for you to view it with your eyeballs. As long as you don't rub them too hard, then you'll stay
You
on
won't
planet
miss
Earth.
this. Yes, correct.
Don't be like Elon.
And like the video there because it'll make me feel good about myself.
He needs validation from you people, please.
I really do. And yeah, just enjoy yourselves. It's later than you think.
It's half 8. Oh, you silly boy.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. I want to ask you guys a question. Are we doing
fuck off.
under the needle soon?
Oh,
We've been
almost
due
certainly.
one for the past 4 months.
Or do you think maybe we should use our new format and do it together?
Oh yeah, that's a good shout.
Oh, that is actually a very good idea. I'm not doing it now.
No.
We'll do
Next week.
Shatters. Well, if you're
We'll
listening,
do it next Tuesday.
Look
Yeah,
forward.
no, I like that idea.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday, lads.
see you next Tuesday, you bloody
Yes, but
cunt.
alas, this is the last chapter. So bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry, and on that note,
And on that
Yes, thank you. Waiting on that. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. Now we must leave.